This is the third time I've been on this team.
That's okay.
This is my application form on Friday. Wow.
Okay. So does everybody come on in here? You can fill in right here. That's good. Right here.
Yeah. And I got my I have my yeah.
Is Sally Joe here? Got it.
Sally should come on up. Sally should come up here. So,
People say,
Because of health.
so we are going to start, and so the whole idea of bench and go now is the idea of is to acknowledge a life-threatening experience and to thank God for the blessing of life, really, is what this is. And it's a communal kind of response, and it is something that people have done throughout the ages. And it's a very powerful experience for not only for Jonathan, but also for all of us together in sort of acknowledging this journey that he has been on and the fragility of life, period. And so we all have gone through things. We all have experienced things that we are grateful that we have come out on the other end. And so it is ritualizing this moment, this human moment that we all have experienced. We might not have all decided to bench go now, but perhaps because of Jonathan's modeling, we will in the future choose to do this. So that is the hope and prayer as well. So we all have a part in this, and Jonathan says the first part, we say the second. So may the one who has been gracious to you continue to favor you with all that is good. So we put that last blessing in Hebrew and in English. Okay? So he'll do the beginning part because he asks for that. And then we almost acknowledge God's presence in the midst of this. And then he is going to begin, and I am going
watch to make sure that if my voice cracks, she'll put me to the next word.
If your voice cracks?
Yeah. There are a few of you here who were at our wedding, and at our wedding, everyone on the bima except for us, including the rabbi, including the cantor, were crying. So it happened. Be'emet, okay? As my friend Neil Gendler said, tell people what you're going to tell them. I'm going to talk about what happened to me and then how I got here. What happened to me is that I was diagnosed with prostate cancer more than 3 years ago, but I was only allowed to go for the cure 6 months ago. I had to be ready, just like with cataracts, you have to be ready. I had radiation treatment at Abbott Northwestern Hospital every weekday, Monday through Friday, for all of July and all of August. Let me tell you what it was like, sitting in an oncology clinic. I'd see somebody walk in one day, the next week they'd walk in with a cane, the next week they'd be coming in a wheelchair. I was the luckiest person in the world. I can't begin to tell you how lucky I am. because I could see people who were suffering. And for me, it's like the world's greatest inconvenience. You know, it screwed up my body with my plumbing and all that, but I'll get over that. I'll be here for a while, I hope. So, many of the Jews I know, when they're letting their mind wander, they wander towards touchstone remembrances. There are people I know who quote scripture, who can quote Tanakh. People can quote a chapter and verse. I can't do that. I know people who can. I know people who can quote Talmud. They live in my neighborhood, like Robert Portnow, where they can quote a blot of Talmud, and they'll know which folio and whether it's on the A or the B page. I can't do that. What I find really speaks to me, and always has, is tefillah. It's our liturgy, it's our prayers. Yes, I gain understanding by reading the Siddur, the regular prayer book. And this time of the year, I gain understanding by reading the Machzor, the High Holiday Prayer Book. So I want to share with you what Mishkan Tefillah calls Nisim B'chol Yom, daily miracles. Everyday miracles or daily miracles?
Yeah.
Miracles every day. There's one that always troubled me.
Every day.
There's one that always troubled me, and it's thanking God, She'asa li kol tzarki. And it says, in the 21st century translation, who has given me everything I need. And I'm thinking, for years, this was the most difficult prayer for me to say, because did I have everything I needed? Did I have everything I want? And I realized sitting there, I have everything I need. But then my mind started to wander. And over time, I realized that that wasn't the real prayer that was speaking to me. I was sitting and I was watching the Unatana Tokel from Yom Kippur. Who shall live and who shall die? Because I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, am I going to live or die? But I'm looking at people and their trajectory is so different than mine. There were many days that it's like, go ahead, I'll wait. I used to think that the Unatana Tokel, who shall live and who shall die, was just a metaphor. Now I realize it's not a metaphor. It's hiding in plain sight, and most of us never have the opportunity to see it. So, why did I ask all of you to come here? Well, there's the tradition of thanking God. One day this week, before anyone else got to work, even before Mickey got to work, I was listening to a 20th century liturgist, Naomi Shemer. Most of you know her for Yerushalayim Shel Zahav. And I was listening to her song, Al Kol Eila. And there's a phrase in there that really just spoke to me, and it just jarred me. And it says, Shmor Eli Hatov. And that's asking God to watch over me for the good. That's what I'm here for. That's the bracha that I want to have. Shmor Eli Hatov. Watch over me for good. But publicly, doing this the old-fashioned way, the analog way, publicly I want to thank each one of you. This has really been tough for me. Some of you called me. Some of you made donations. Some of you came to our house to see if I was doing okay. Some of you dragged me out of the house. Some of you brought out-of-town people to say, you know, your Uncle John's doing okay. It's not as bad as you thought. A phone call, an email, a card wasn't enough for me to tell all of you how I feel. You are my community. You are my support system. And publicly, I want to thank all of you. For health of body and spirit, I thank you, my God. I was broken and now I'm whole, weary, but now I'm rested, anxious, but now I'm reassured. Let's do the next paragraph together. Teach me all my thankfulness to all who helped me in my need, who pardoned me when I was afraid, who visited me when I was lonely, To you, Eternal One, I offer my thanksgiving and glorify your name. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Shabbat Ba'alani kol tov. I praise you, Eternal God, Sovereign of the universe. You bestow great goodness upon me. Together, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'achiyanu v'kiyamanu v'vihyanu v'azman ha'aseh.
May the one who's been gracious to you continue to favor you with all things.
Amen.
And I am going to add another. So this is our Holocaust story. I was just in Prague, I was just in Berlin, and this Torah scroll teaches us that we are not only in the presence of a survivor, both you and the Torah scroll, but that out of the cancer, out of sitting in the waiting room and seeing others, that out of that difficult barbed wire experience comes the flowers of hope. That's what you're bringing us here to do today. That is what this Torah represents and why I want you to hold it. I want you to hold the ideas and the experiences that have brought this Torah scroll to us in a miraculous way, right? And so, not once did you ever say, why me? Not once did you ever question what you were going to do. You always had this perspective of, it is something I have to go through. And the most amazing piece of Jon Minsberg is that you have this ability to make meaning out of everything and anything that happens in your life. And now this includes cancer. And so as you bring meaning into it with the Jewish lens, which is truly remarkable. And I know that Sally has been there as a partner, so I want you, Sally, to come close and to be next to him. And so I'm going to bless you with the words that are in this scroll. We have blessed you with benching Gomer, that good will come from you. We recognize God's presence. But we also now are going to bless you with the ancient words. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, that God bless you and that God keep you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yachinecha, may God's light shine upon you and shine through you, and may God be gracious unto you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha Shalom. May God's light be upon you. May God grant you the most precious gifts, this wholeness, this peace, and be saved. Amen. So we are going to sing those words we just said to Shehakianu, because I feel like we need some song. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Giving us this opportunity to be blessed by you.
And Sally has made a notch, which is at the other end of the hall in the Nolan room.
There you
And she
go.
can make that.
All right.